welcome back everyone. We're back for another episode on The Athlete's Mind. I'm Tony, your host. Today we're very lucky to have Jamie on the podcast for a footy episode, so thank you for coming on. So we're just going to get straight into it. So the first question we ask everyone when they come on is, how did you actually get into your sport? What does the journey look like from the beginning to where you're at now?
Yeah, okay, so essentially started at my local footy club, Upper Swan. Played with the boys all the way up until year 9, and then that's when I made that transition to Swan Districts and got straight into the league side as a 15-year-old, and then coming into my third season with them this year. Yeah.
So, yeah, because, I used to play, Mount Hawthorn Cardinals. I think we versed Swan a few times.
I think so.
Honestly, I might have versed you.
Yeah, probably.
Who knows? But, were there any other sports that you played growing up?
So I did do athletics. I think that really helped me with, obviously my football journey and fitness-wise. Also did netball, but wasn't a fan of that because it's, not contact. But, yeah.
You like the contact. Yeah. That's good. Yeah, and I know, with me, how I got into footy, my dad played it, sort of passed it on to me. Was that similar with you, any of your family members?
Yeah, well, so obviously my older brother, he plays footy, and, as a young girl, I was looking up to him. I actually used to be right footer, but I changed to left because I was watching him all the time, so I just, started throwing the footy on my left and, now I'm a left footer.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Do you still use your right foot?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, because I'm right-handed, it's just, so easy for the ball drop, so I guess I'm a bit, can do both, which is handy.
Yeah, that's a unique skill. I've never actually heard that, but yeah, that's good. I know you just mentioned your brother, but who's helped you the most throughout your journey, would you say?
I definitely have to say my mum, just being able to, with state and Swan's commitments, most nights every week, just being able to drive me to and from training all the time and just, being my number one supporter. Yeah. I definitely think that's made, a massive part in, my football journey so far.
Were there any, coaches that...
Well, I've had many different coaches, obviously, starting with the boys. Definitely... They have made an impact as well, and then the support network down at Swans and State, is incredible.
Yeah, that would be good.
And even a few school teachers, the whole sport department at my school, they're so invested in my football journey and just doing the little things before school, helping with my, skills and stuff was amazing.
That's essential. Yeah, it's good that you have a good different environment at school, coaches. That's really good
definitely.
To have. Were there any professional athletes in the AFLW or the AFL that you look up to?
In the AFLW, I'd definitely say Kiara Bowers. She's smashing 22 tackles a game. It's unreal. I think just her hunger for the ball is definitely something I look up to and want to be like. But yeah.
So you like the contact tackling?
Yeah.
Would you say that's your strength?
Yeah, definitely.
That is good.
The physicality of the game is what I love.
Definitely wasn't my strength when I played. I was more of a runner, but when it came to contact, I stayed away. But yeah. What would you say has been your favourite memory in sport? It doesn't even have to be footy, just in general. Any grand finals, anything like that? I
have two. I'd probably say when we made the league grand final last year for Swans. Didn't get the result we wanted, but it was unreal. It was down in Mandurah, so we didn't have our home, crowd around us, but a lot of people made the effort to get down, which was really special.
Yeah, that would have been a great memory. And what was the score in that one? Do you remember? If you don't want to say it.
I honestly don't recall. I was pretty shocked. I was let's not look at the scoreboard at the moment. But it was really good to play against, and the experience was unreal.
Yeah, I've never been in a footy grand final, but I can imagine the experience would be quite amazing. So, yeah. And over your journey, have you had any injuries playing at all?
I'd throw back to year 6. I broke my nose, came straight out of tackle, smashed into one of the boys' heads. I don't know what was worse, me breaking my nose or the concussion he got, because it was a hard hit.
Gave him a concussion.
Yeah, and actually had to have surgery on that one because it was so bad.
Jeez,
but other than that, this season, last game, someone stepped on my leg and I had severe bruising, but...
Yeah, that's right. You get through it.
Yeah. Got to soldier on.
Having surgery, you must be nervous, getting that. I've never had surgery, but...
Yeah, I know.
Now, going more onto the mental side of things, athlete's mind, we like to sort of talk about this. Are there ever times where you find yourself stressed playing footy, whether that's trying to make a team, keeping your spot, or overall just performing well?
Yeah, so I definitely think, down at Swans, I'm in the leadership group, but I just think it's important to understand, just because you have a title or something doesn't mean you're guaranteed a spot every week, which I think is really important. You've got to show up every week, train hard, just to prove that you belong there. And that's same with state. Like, even if you're selected in the squad, it doesn't guarantee that you can't get dropped, the next week.
Of course.
So, just earning that spot at training, doing the little things outside of, training, like, whether that's just going for a skill, like, session or whatever. Like.
Yeah. Do you, like, speak to anyone if you are stressed about this sort of stuff?
Yeah, well, I just have some really good mates that aren't involved in footy at all, so they have no clue what they're doing, so I can just rant to them if I just, need to let it all out, or just, the support network, obviously, down at Swans and the state is really good to just be able to talk to them, ask get feedback that I might need. But yeah.
It's good to have mates like that, mates that listen to you, even if they're not into footy.
Yeah, they probably have no clue what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but, they're supporting you, which is all you can really ask for. So, now you are currently in the off-season for footy. What does the off-season usually look like for you? Do you do anything to keep up with your fitness, or do you just like to have a bit of a break?
Yeah, so obviously I'm one that struggles a bit with having a break. Like, I love just, season's over, I'm back at it, ready to go. But yeah, just getting into the gym sessions and then slowly getting into running. But this off-season I've tried to just give my body a bit of a rest, and I've been doing swimming and boxing to, stay off the feet.
That's great.
But yeah, I've been really enjoying it, so it's good.
So how long have you been doing boxing for?
Probably 2 months now.
Boxing's great, especially for your fitness. I love boxing.
And there's quite a few AFL players that have been coming down, so it's like...
Oh, yeah, can you name any?
So Michael Walters was there last week, Liam Henry, Cozzy Pickett.
Jeez, got a few in there.
Yeah, it's great.
I like Walters. I actually like him as a player, so that's pretty cool.
He's a good person as well.
Yeah, I mean, training with AFL players it would probably make you want to push yourself a bit more. So
definitely.
Yeah. Do you have any goals in, life moving forward? Doesn't have to be footy, just in the future, next few years.
Well, obviously footy orientated, I'd love to be able to make AFLW. That's the ultimate goal, but if that weren't to happen, just to be at the highest of my abilities, whether that's playing Waffle W and just being the best version of myself, fitness wise and health wise, I think it's really important for me.
I think going back to the point you mentioned before with the off season with players training, I think it's good because a lot of coaches now, they look for, once you come back to season, they expect you to be fit and ready to go, and that's good that you like to stay on top of it. You have to give yourself a break, but it's good that you stay on top of it. So and do you try and have a balance between training and having spending time with your friends, maybe having a bit of fun? So obviously last year I struggled a bit with that, training sometimes 5 nights a week and then a game on the weekend and work the other. It's really hard to, balance your social life, school life, work life, footy life. In this off season, it's been really great to just catch up with everyone and slow down a bit. It's very important.
It definitely
balance. It can't just be footy.
I know. Definitely learned that lesson.
Even with me, sometimes when I was very obsessed with sport, I would, my friends would sometimes get mad at me, I'll come out, because I was always training.
I can't have training.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone just knows.
Now, I sort of interested in this one. I think a lot of people are interested in this question as well. How do you sort of overcome adversity playing a male-dominated sport? And do you think that with the creation of the AFLW and representation of women in footy just in general, that it will encourage more girls to try out the sport? Yeah.
Also, obviously, there's been quite a bit of hate over social media the past few years, just relating, AFLW and whatnot. But I think it's really good for the young girls coming through the pathway, knowing they have that Waffle W club to play for. And then now having the 18 AFLW sides, it's really good. For the upcoming years for all the girls. Yeah. Would you give any advice to some, athletes who want to get into footy that are girls? I just definitely say, be courageous, step outside your comfort zone. Yeah, just give it a go. Because at the end of the day, I used to be a shy little footy player, used to always hold back, but as soon as I, stepped out of that zone, it's taken me many places. I definitely think with the AFLW coming into play, it would definitely increase the number of 100%. Girls trying to try out footy, which is great. It's great to see. What does your training schedule sort of look like during the season and even in the off season? Maybe a weekly sort of schedule? So obviously when State and Swans both clash at the same time, it's usually Monday, Tuesday, Thursday at State. And then it's Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday at Swans. So you clash a bit, but obviously State's the priority. And then, whatever you miss out, you can just catch up on the next week. They do Zoom calls and stuff, which is really good, so you're not actually falling behind with anything. And then, obviously games on a Sunday or whatnot. You just mentioned State. How was that experience, actually? It was unreal. it really reminds you of what the AFLW expectations are, and it's actually very close to what they would expect of you. And
So it gets you ready for
that. Definitely, 100%.
How do you prepare for games? Is there anything you do before running out into the field, whether that's listening to music or stuff like that?
So obviously pre-game, love to wake up, have a bit of Sultana Bran, and then before I leave the house, have 2.5 Wheat Bix. Very superstitious about that. And then I like to get to the game, to the ground before the gates even open. I'm very nice early. Go out, have a little kick with my AirPods in, and then I love to get in the change rooms, just shut off everyone and relax and just take a deep breath.
In the zone, sort of thing.
And then I also obviously have a pre and post game diary. So your pre-game, you write your goals for the game, and then post-game, you see, have you achieved these goals? It's really good.
I think I interviewed a footy player recently, and he does the same thing. He writes before the game and after the game. It's really interesting because I don't think a lot of players do that, but the players that do that, I think it's very beneficial. Just reflecting. Now, you obviously play Swan Districts in league. So you're one of the younger players in the team, right? Yeah, so how is it playing with some of the older ages in that group?
Yeah, so I think the past 2 years I have been the youngest in the league side, but it's definitely been unreal being able to learn off them. They've had many years of experience, and especially being in the midfield and the back line, chopping between them two. Some of the girls have been playing for 5+ years at Swans, so you definitely learn a lot.
You'd probably verse some AFLW players who maybe dropped or gone up. That would also be pretty cool.
Well, we have a bunch of the AFLW girls coming into our side as well, so being able to play with them is unreal. And even playing against them in the league grand final last year was so good.
Do you sometimes try and ask some questions what it's like?
On 100%. What are you expectations? How does your training go? What's the schedule kind of thing like? Because I guess if I just prepare myself as best as I can, that will definitely benefit me.
Of course, yeah. Now, going into sort of stats, your best game was round 11, stats-wise anyway, against West Perth. You had 28 disposals. What do you think was the difference from that game to any of the others, if you can remember?
So the game against West Perth, that was my first game back at Swans after coming back from my state championships.
Oh, okay. Yeah, interesting.
So state championships, I played midfield. When I played at Swans, I was defence.
Oh, okay.
So that game was my first round in the midfield. So I guess I had a lot of hunger for the ball and really wanted to just hunt it and do what I could, make an impact when I could.
Yeah, and probably just coming back from state, you would have been at a high level.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that would have made an impact. Yeah. And now in the season, your team had 6 wins and you finished in the top 4, but unfortunately, I think you guys fell short against Claremont in the finals. What do you think your team can do to work better in the next season?
I think just staying connected and being consistent. Yeah. We're going to have a big pre-season this year, all the girls are up and about, and we're about to start training in the next few weeks. So, just hitting the track early, not only, it's important to also balance, the team side of things, not playing as individuals, but playing as a team. And I think that's where we're going to go well this year. Yeah,
and I think it's, like you mentioned, it's very important to find that team balance. Because everyone's there for their individual success, but it's also good to find that team chemistry, what the team's strengths are and stuff. And that also comes to a communication thing as well. But overall, like you said, you had a fairly consistent season. What are some of the short-term goals you have for maybe 2023 instead of long-term?
I guess for me, just taking the risk. It's definitely something I worked on with state. Obviously not just taking the easy option, kicking out wide, taking that risk through the middle and backing myself to hit that option. That's definitely something I want to try. Throughout the game.
If you were drafted, what team would you like to go to?
Interesting question. I haven't really thought about it because I wouldn't mind going, staying in WA, but obviously there's so many teams in the eastern states. I would be happy to move over as well.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be mad if I had to leave school,
So if you got given the opportunity, you would leave?
100%.
Yeah, it would probably be a dream come true for you, So that would be great to see. I wish you the best,
Thank you.
If you do make it, that would be great. So, I think we've covered pretty much everything there. So, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. I hope you guys all enjoyed this episode. This will also be on Spotify. Go and follow the TikTok, Instagram, recent episode link below. And I'll catch you guys all in the next episode. Thank you.